Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and a puzzle by Dorlier, who is a great friend of the channel, appears regularly on the channel, I would say, and certainly appears regularly in the chat on the live streams. We've been to the Blueprints house a couple of times in the last 2 weeks, and indeed once into the Artisan of Glimeth. So do check those VODs out. Things went from good to better for once in Blueprints over the last 2 streams. It was extraordinarily successful for us, a bit lucky to be fair, but they were great fun. So we're doing that every Monday night. We're streaming every Friday. We bring you a crossword masterclass. Every day we bring you a minute cryptic and Wordle in a minute, and that's in addition to 2 Sudoku videos. So we are just trying to give you stuff that is fun to look at and solve, and of course there's extra content. If you join us on Patreon, you will get on the 1st of each month a new Sudoku hunt coming up. Sandra and Nala in the fog again. Looking forward to that. Also coming up, we've got we've got crossword videos, gridogram and connections videos every few days. Loads going on Patreon. Do join us there. There's a lot of extra content. And there's also our apps. They feature classic Sudoku 2, some brilliant puzzles by some brilliant constructors, and the Worms, again, same deal. They are great fun, and there's 2 new Worms coming out soon. Loads of good stuff. Merchandise, you could get yourself a CTC mug if you wanted, and they're very good too. Blah, 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 blah. Let's have a look at Wendesauna. Apologies for the German pronunciation, and I don't even know the meaning. I expect it's a winding path. Wild guess. By Dorlier. And let's look at the rules. So, normal Sudoku rules apply. We get a given digit. Hurrah. 1 to 9 will go in every row, column, and 3 by 3 box. We have to draw a single loop that travels orthogonally and passes through the centers of cells. Let's just create the pen tool. So the loop could go straight through a cell or turn within a cell, but it cannot branch or cross itself. I presume it could do this. Adjacent digits along the loop differ by at least 5, so it's a sort of German whisper loop. A digit in a circle indicates how many of the 4 surrounding cells contain turns of the loop, and that one of those 4 surrounding cells contains that digit. So there's 1 turn around this in these 4 cells on the loop, and there's a 1. Okay, I understand the rules. I expect this to be difficult. Do give it a try on the first link under the video. I'm going to start now. Let's get cracking. Okay, I'm much better at understanding the quadruple rule than the loop. So I know there's a 2 around that quadruple clue. So the 2 around this one is not again in box 2, it's in box 1. And there's a 2 around this one that must be in column 2. This is just basic Sudoku, and I've got nothing else, and I don't think I have enough repeat digits in these quadruples to do anything else. So that line of inquiry ends instantly. Let's think about the loop then. Oh, the loop. Okay, the 4s and the 3. We've got 2 4s and 1 3. These are quite big numbers in terms of numbers of turns. Oh, okay, first of all, I'm going to draw the loop in green. The loop must turn in this cell. It must go through this cell and it must turn in it. Right. The loop is not going to turn, is not going to go, well, first of all, if it turns, it's got 1 vertical and 1 horizontal part. The horizontal part must go into there. And the same is true from row 3, column 1. There must be a loop segment here, and the horizontal part must go there. Now, where do the vertical parts go? I'm not going to let it go through the 6. So the things I normally tell you about German whispers, when we see them in the grid, here we're making our German whisper, but when we see them, I tell you that you can't put 5 on them, which is true because there's no available Sudoku neighbor. That they alternate between high and low, higher than 5 and lower than 5. That's going to be really important in this puzzle, which has what we sometimes call a kind of bishop's move constraint on it. Once we establish one high digit in the puzzle, we can look at the checkerboard pattern of the puzzle and know that the loop will only visit high cells in one of the colours of the checkerboard and low cells in the other, because it must always move off one colour onto the other to make a turn. Now, the third thing that we sometimes tell you is that 4s and 6 are difficult to place on German whispers. Oh, well, do excuse me. Okay, my apologies about the phone call. Now, 6 and 4 can only be positioned on the line in places where they're two neighbours on the line, and this is a loop, so there'll always be two neighbours, where their two neighbours on the line don't see each other in row, column or box. Now, that 6 is not in such a position. That can't be on the loop because its two neighbours would both be in box 1 and will both be 1s. So that's not on the loop. So from this cell, we must go south. Now, the next thing I'm going to say is we can't join up the loop here. We must turn in every cell, but we can't join it up, or it's not a whole loop that is going to take in all the other quadruples. So we've got to go north and south, and that is very clear. And there we go. There is the start to the loop. It's got to turn right here. Now, what do we know? Oh, there's a 4 around this. There's a 4 on the loop. That can only go here. This is what I've just told you, is it can only go in a cell where its two neighbours can be in different boxes. Let's look at it that way. So that's a 4, and those are 9s. And now we know the bishop's move stuff. So not only in this box are these two low and these two high. In fact, they're a 7-8 pair. We now know where 2 goes because we did the pencil marking. Don't know if 2's on the loop yet, but that's a 7-8. Now these are a 1-3 pair. This is obviously a 5 since it's not on the loop. And there we go. We've started our German Whispers Wendersauner loop. We've got 2 turns to make in this area. But that could go this way, or... Oh, difficult to go through there. Is it? Yeah, I don't see... Let me draw you the line that I don't think can happen. That would be 1 turn. If, oh no, then it could go down here. I was trying to, sorry, I couldn't see how you could just do 2 turns in the relevant area, but you could, so that was nonsense. Right, let's think about, this 4 was good because it was wedged up against the side of the puzzle. This one's a bit harder to determine. You've got to bear in mind there is a possibility of loops going that way, that way, that way, and that way, turning away from the 4 all the time. Now that can't happen here around this 3, so this might be the place to look next. Now there is a 3 around this 3, but it might not be on the loop. However, right, I'm going to use the bishop's move thingy. I don't think this digit can be... I don't think this can be a 2 at all. And I might have gone too far here, but bear with me. Oh, I've just noticed this can't be a 3 because it would be touching a 7. Ah, that is a whisper foul. So that's the 3. That's touching an 8. Look, we've finished box 1. And after that 7, we're going to have a 2 on the line in one of those positions. Okay, sorry. That's just by the by. Just spotted that. Now, I'm going to claim this isn't a 2. It would be on the wrong cell, the wrong colour of cell in my imaginary checkerboard coloured grid to be low. You can't get to that on the loop moving high, low, high, low. So, if that was a 2, it would be not on the loop. We'd have to have turns in all 3 of these cells, but you couldn't have a turn in this cell because it couldn't have a horizontal component. It couldn't use that on the loop, and it couldn't go out of the grid. So that's not a 2. I mean, that logic is fair, isn't it? It is. That's a 2. Now, what does that tell us? That tells us there's a 2 in one of these positions. Maybe it even tells us that this digit is on the loop, because if this is off the loop, exactly what I said applies to this cell. All of these 3 would have to have a turn in them, but this one couldn't. So this digit has to be on the loop. I can colour it green. And it has to be high by the checkerboard. In fact, it has to be 6 or 7, because 9 and 8 have gone. So that's on the loop. Does it apply to this cell as well? Is this definitely on the loop? Because I know what digit it is if it is. If this is not on the loop, then there had to be a turn in this cell, and yet it wouldn't be able to have a horizontal component. It works fine. So this is on the loop. This is a 3. And I'm going to put a circle in that cell because it's on the loop. Now, the 3 on the loop is going to be joining an 8 and a 9. That's because it's in the middle of a box. It has no other alternative. That's the 9 it's going to join to. And it's going to join to an 8 in one of these cells. Now, if it went this way, I think that's possible this time. Because then you could have a loop that made 2 more turns. I'll just show you. Look at that. That loop would have achieved 3 turns around the 3. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's possible for this digit to be an 8. I think it is. But we do need a turn in one of these cells. And the line will go, there will be a horizontal line. Yeah, I don't know the answer. Okay. What else have we got in the column? Oh, these are from 5, 6, and 7. This can't be a 6 and be on the loop, can it? Because it would have to connect with 2 1s, and it could get one horizontally, but not one vertically, so that's a 7. Now, the loop can never go through these cells. Maybe I should have a little colour for places where the loop cannot possibly go. It can't go through those cells because 6 is in the wrong position within the box to have 2 1s. Now it can't go into those cells and get out. So I think this is a good idea to have a little colour. I don't think the loop can go into this cell because it could never get out. This might be slightly helpful. Now, here's a thought. The loop could go down here and then if it turns in both of these cells, it will then have to go straight. And here, that 7 could be surrounded by a 2 and a 1. By Sudoku, there is a 2 and a 5 in these cells. One of these is on the loop, by the way. Either that is high and must be an 8, or this is low and would be a 1 or a 2. Or, I mean, this is worth considering. As I just said, they could both be on the loop, and yet the loop not turn in one cell. Oh, hang on, this purpling has been good. If this loop went right into the 8, how's it ever going to pick up the 7 and make enough turns to get in there and out again? So, yeah, look at this. If the loop had gone that way into the 8, I think this is impossible. Then at some point, it's going to have to come back through here, turn there and get out. And we're not going to have enough turns on the 3. Even if you allowed it to come this way, You can't get 2 turns here, I don't think. We need 2 turns here. Yeah, I mean, I think the fundamental point is they'd have to look a bit like that, but then this loop would never get out. So we're not going to go to an 8 there. We're going to go to an 8 here. That's how the loop moves. And then it's got to go south from there. Now we've had one of the turns on this 3-turn. No, we've had 2 of the turns on this 3-turn loop. This digit is definitely low and is 1 or 2 because it can't be 3. Now, do we turn here and go straight across? Or do we come down and up and then there? Either way round, we're going from this cell to this cell. And I think we know then that this is a 1 because it can't be 2 and it's attached to a 7. Have I missed any alternatives? Did we even need to hit that cell? Yes, we do, because okay, let's just go back a step. Do we need to hit this cell? Yes, because otherwise we've gone straight down here and not had enough turns. So we will hit this cell. All of these cells are on the loop, but in 1 there is no turn. It could be here at the moment, but then we're going to have to hit here, and then this is going to be a corner, and we're going to come there. Yeah, okay, that's right. So my planning there is right. This digit is a 2 now. If we came down to here, it would be to a 7. That is possible. Now, maybe it's time to consider this. We've got the 2 on the loop, but we're going to have to make 2 turns. If we come up there, that's 1. Oh, there's Sudoku. That digit is a 5, and this is a 4-6 pair. Ooh, that could be interesting. These are 3, 8, 9. These are 1, 4, 7. That can be a 7. Oh, there's 4 turns here. Why have I not been thinking about that? Right, we can't go into that cell, and we've got to have a horizontal from this cell. So we're going that way. Okay, that's one thing. We've got 4 turns coming on. All of these cells are on the loop. Oh, so we know their polarity. This is high. This is low. It must be a 3. This is high. It must be 8 or 9 to connect to a 3. This is low. We need a 4. We need a 4 around this quadruple. So that 4 is going to be connected to 2 9s, which could well be those, but actually could be there and there. That's not a 3 now. Right. Now, how are we going to organise the turning? I find the turning much harder to visualise than the German whisper or the loop or even the Sudoku. And I'm sorry. So you just have to bear with me while I try and figure it out. I still don't even know. Oh, I've got to have 2 turns around here. This digit is a turn because it's a turn for this 4. So there's only one other turn around here. This digit is a definite turn. I keep wanting to make a turn for the worst joke or something. Where is the other turning digit? So this has ruled out this line, because now we'd have too many turns around the 2. We'd have 1 there, and we must have 1 in here for the 4. So that is not happening. So we're going straight across from the 2 to the 7. Well, I mean, it's a relief. Now we've not had a turn here. We're not going to have a turn here because this can't go north or south. So the 2 turns around the 2 are in that cell and in this cell. Now let's be careful, because we could turn up there to a 6 and a 1. We can't do that, because that would put 2 1s here and break the 1 that has to be on this circle. That may be the only reason we can't go up. But then we can't go up, but we must turn in this and go down. So, good. That is unsurprising, but it is at least proved. Now, we've got to turn in this cell. We can't, this cell is out of bounds now, because we can never get out of it. So we've got to turn right there. Then we've got to turn, well, this is now a corner. Oh my goodness, we're going to come out there. This is a turn, so it goes north. There we go. That 4 is seeing 2 9s. This digit is an 8. This digit is 1, 2, not 1 actually, because of that. It's 2 or 3. Wow, okay, and this is high, and not 8 or 9. There we go, this is 7 touching 2. It's only going to be, well, and never mind about this. Let's just refocus. That's not a 4, this is not a 7. Oh, we've got to escape up here. Now I know we don't go into that cell from this 7, because that can't be a 1 or a 2. So this was worth doing down here. We've got to go south, and there's our first turn. Here's our second turn on that 2, because we can't run into the 5. And now we're not allowed any more turns, so we must go straight on. This digit is not allowed to be 9 or 8, so that's a 7. This digit is a 1, because it's not allowed to be 2. Ooh, okay. Okay, that's good. There we go. Right, now what next? There is a 1 by quadruple rules around this 1. What about this? Do we turn here or do we go straight on? Remaining cells in the row, 4, 5, 6, 9. Interestingly, this couldn't be a 6 on the loop, because where would the loop go after that? It would have to go into another 1, but this 1 rules all of them out. So if this is on the loop, it's a 9. Oh, this 7 is going to have to go into a 1 next to carry on at all. So that 1 is here. And we can draw loop. Now, we haven't had the turn here. These remaining digits are 3, 5, 6, 8. Oh, this digit is definitely not on the loop, because it is 5, 6, or 8. It's not low. So it's purple. Now, we could turn up here, but then we'd have to go to that cell, because we wouldn't be allowed another turn, and that would have to be 8 and that would have to be 3. That's possible. Alternatively, that's the only way we can go north. Alternatively, we can go east, but then we're going to come back here and turn in this cell, and we will still be going north, so we must go north from that cell. So this is an 8 and this is a 3. And that has to be right. Whichever way this cell is used, whether it's after a turn or as a turn, there's a north component in it. Now, that's become a 4. I've got a 5, 6 pair in this row. That's worth thinking about. These digits are from 1, 2, 4, 7. Now, are we turning right into this box, or could we possibly go north and then come back into the box? I don't know. I do know there's a 1 in one of those cells. There could be Sudoku to do, so watch out for it. Can't really see it at this point. So I'm going to think about which cells we hit here. This digit is 2, 3, or 8 by Sudoku. This one is 2 or 6. Ah, now that is interesting. If this was a 6, it wouldn't be on the loop because it's in the wrong type of cell. This would be a 2. And that also wouldn't be on the loop because it's in the wrong type of cell. Oh, hang on. There's something problematic here. If this was a 6, that would be a 2. Neither of these would be on the loop. The loop is meant to have 2 turns. So it would now have to go up there and turn back to there, and then come here. This would be a 9-4 pair. I mean, this might happen. I'm not ruling it out. That would be 8 or 9. This would be a low 2. That would be, it would be 8, 2, 9, 4. No, this can't be a 2. This digit up here could only be on the loop if it was a 4 with 9s there and there. This sees 1, it sees a 2 in the quadruple, and it sees a 3 down here. So this digit being on the loop, it's in a position where it has to be low. It would have to be a 4 to be on the loop, and it would have to have 9s here and here. And the loop would very specifically have to be going that way. And that is not possible. Right, I can now I can rule out this being a 6. And I'm going to show you how. This being a 6 would make this a 2. They would both be off the loop. These two would both have to be on the loop and turns, so we would watch the loop go up that way, then that way. This would be a turn, so it would do that as well. Now, that is a problem because you are going to have to excuse me for a moment now. Right, sorry, a bit of family excitement. Now, what I was showing was why this doesn't work. Wasn't it? It was. I'm sure it was. So the problem was going to be that this digit would have to be a 4 because it would have to be low. And that's just impossible because those would both have to be 9. So that loop does not work. And therefore, this digit is not a 6. This is a 2. Now, I'm not saying it's on the loop, but it is a 2. It's probably on the loop. Well, I don't know. It might be on the loop. Now, I think this problem keeps applying. This cell is not available. Well, is it available for the loop? I want to colour it pink and get it gone. Oh, that's pink because it couldn't go laterally. Right, I want to colour, this is definitely pink, we can't go into that cell. I want to colour this pink. Actually, let's have a look at this. This is 3, 6 or 8 by Sudoku. Oh, you could have 3 and 8 here. Okay, can't even colour that pink. I want to colour this pink because the only low digit it can be is 4. But could the loop go 9, 4, 9 there? And yet have 2 turns exactly on these cells. I can't rule it out yet. I nearly can, but I can't. I think I'm missing something there, but never mind. Never mind. There's a 1 in one of those cells for the quadruple. So we place 1 in the central box. Oh, and that is on the wrong coloured cell. The loop can't go into that cell because it's meant to be the same colour as that if it was to have the loop. So that's pink. That's now pink. That's now pink. This is almost certainly pink. Yes, it is. We can't have the loop going into that. Also, we've got a 1. Ooh. I mean, you may not think it's very valuable to find a pink cell there, but it's not bad. Anything that contributes to our understanding the puzzle is good. There's a 2 in one of those cells, and the 2 around this one has to be definitely there. gosh, we've got a 2 there. Have we got all the 2s in the grid? No, we've got 1 to go there and 1 to go here. And there's 1 right up in the corner that is on the wrong colour. So that's off the loop. Hey, this is on the wrong colour. That's on the same, yeah, that's not on the loop. Right. How are we going to get 2 turns in these 3 cells? Probably by dipping down from above or something. Oh, goodness, I don't know. That's very interesting that that's the wrong colour. So can the loop go round here? I'm sure it can't, but I don't know. So how are we going to get to there? Either directly down or this way, in which case this loop goes this way. I was going to say they must join up then, but now I'm not quite sure even of that. Oh, I'll tell you what, this loop cannot go round here because it would touch either a 5 or a 6. And it couldn't make the path. So those are pink, that's pink. It's not going round there. I still don't know if it's coming into these cells. If it's not, this is going to be, oh, one of these is going to be low and on the loop. Neither of them can be a 3 or a 2. You can't have a 4 in that position by Sudoku or in this position on the loop because it can't touch 2 9s. So one of these is a 1 that is on the loop. That's interesting. That is interesting and surprising. There's a 1 in one of those cells, just by the by. So one of these is a 1 that's on the loop. The other digit on the loop down here is not low because we cannot have a low loop digit there. So this digit is definitely on the loop and is high. And it can't be 9. So it's, well, let's say 6, 7 or 8. I suspect there's things there it can't be. It can't be a 6. Because although it could join to a 1 in this box, it can't join to a 1 in that box. Or that one. Same is probably true for a 7, which couldn't join to a 1 or a 2 here or here. This has to be an 8. That's so weird. This puzzle is a strange puzzle. The 2 cells that must be on this loop, and there are only, the 2 cells around this quadruple that are on the loop are an 8 and a 1, nothing else. And they both have turns in, including that 8. And including the 1. Now, if it was here, oh, I don't know what this means. They both have turns in. This could be on the loop if it's 6 or 9. The very fact that it could be... Oh, this carries on from the 8 to the 3. It could carry on to the 8. Otherwise, it carries on to a 9 here. And if it did, if we carried on north there, this bit with its lateral part, given that it's a turn, would have to go there. And this digit would be on the loop and would be a 1 and would have to be a turn. So what I'm saying is if that one goes north, this is a little U shape. And look, the digit here would have to be a 3 because it can't be 1 or 2 and it's connecting to 8. Okay, that's not impossible. I was just sketching that out because I could see it in my head. But it is still possible for this to be on the loop. Now, this has a turn if it's on the loop, and it goes to connect to that. So then we have to come down here. And then this is going to have a turn as well, and it's going to connect up to here. So this is this is always going to connect north. If that is the one that is on the loop, we connect to that, and then the loop must run north with the turn. If it's here, we can't connect down to there because both would have to turn, and yeah, as soon as you turn into that, you've blocked this off. Right. So this has a north path to there, and that digit is a 3. Got to be. Now, what are we doing with 3s? We're putting a 3 in one of these cells. We're putting a 3 definitely here, and that places 2 in the box, and it places 2 in the next box. And this 2 is not on any loops because it's in the wrong bishop's colour. These ones are fine. So the loop can't go there. Now the loop can't go into these cells because it could never get out. That's quite good. We're shutting down a fair amount of loop territory, which is something. This 3 is going to connect to a high digit in one of these cells. Could be a 9 here, or an 8 or a 9 here. And we are going to come into this area and have one turn and a 1. Not necessarily with the one on the loop. This digit's a 6. Oh, is it? No, it's not. One of those two is a 6. I was just looking at where 6 had to go. 1, 3, 2. There's an 8 in one of those and an 8 in one of those. Let's do some Sudoku because I feel much more at ease. There's a 7 in one of those cells. See, that's slightly interesting too, especially given that we've got to have 2 turns around here. Oh, that 3 has made this an 8. That's quite interesting. I hadn't noticed that. That is not an 8 now. The 8 in the central box is there. These 2 cells are a 4-9 pair. 2, 8, 7. In this column, we've got 3, 5, and 6 still to place. Okay, well, I mean, I like to do some Sudoku because it just makes me think I know what I'm doing a bit more. Now, surely we can rule out. Look, if you went up here and came through that door into box 3, you'd never get through these. Would you? Because what I'm thinking is this would be a high digit to come through here. It would have to be a 9. This can't be a 6 because it on the loop, because it could never connect with another 1. So if this is on the loop, it's a 9. Then these are 4, 5, 6, and I don't see how you come through any of them coming down this box. So we're not going from a 9 there north, because then you couldn't get through this barrier of 4, 5, 6. Wait, yeah, you couldn't even go 9, 4, 9, because that would clash with the 9 over here. So, we're never going up there. Now, I mean, maybe that's absolutely obvious, but it wasn't to me. I think it means we're never using this cell now. If this was a 9, we're not allowed to go up there. The only cell it could connect to outside the box is a 4 here. And that couldn't then carry on, because it would either go up here and never be able to get out, and it couldn't go to a 9 either there or there. So, if this was on the loop, it would have to be as a turn. And that's possible. Then the 2 would be the next turn, because the 8 couldn't be a turn. So what I'm now considering is, does the loop run to this cell and down here? Then it's got to turn one more time only, and that must be a turn to there, to a high digit there, which would be a 7, by the way. So that is the only way this is on the loop, if it goes 1, 9, 2, 7. Okay, yeah, that is right. But that might not be on the loop, in which case we turn down here to an 8. We've had one turn, we're allowed one more. We would either go straight through that to this cell, or down here, not having had a turn, and then this is going to be the turn 2, and there's always a connection between those two cells on the loop, and that digit is 7, therefore. That's got to be right. I mean, it's quite kind of weird, and this puzzle does work in a weird way, but that's right. Now, it doesn't tell me how we get to the 2. We could come through here. We could come through there. I think we could even come down through here. If this was, we can't come through this cell. This can't be on the loop. Oh no, hang on. I'm not saying it can't be on the loop. I might be saying that. The only digit it could be for a high digit here, which it would have to be, is 6 or 7. And the only way it could be a 7 is if it could join to that 2 and that 2. And it can't do that because of this link. So this is not on the loop. This is pink. That's pink. The loop can't go in there either. Right, so we do either go through that. No, we can't go through this cell now because we don't get enough turns. I think I've got this wrong. Why couldn't we do this? 1, 8, 2, 7, and then turn to there? I don't think I've allowed for that. I'm so sorry. I find this a bit head-wrecking, and I've got to be honest with you. It isn't easy. 6, 1, 7, 8. One of these is a 3. I want to do Sudoku. The Sudoku's all I understand. One of these is a 1. Why can't I just figure that one out? If it was here, and this was the second cell on here and the second loop segment, we'd be going down like that. This would be a 9. We'd have to go 8, 1. Ah, okay. Here's why I mean, this is complicated, but here's why we don't go this way. Because this would be the 1, the low digit. This can't be 7 or 8. And this cell, at this stage, this has to get out. This cell has to be on the loop. That would be a 9. This would be a 6. And that can't connect up with a 1 because of this. You can't put a 1 there. So that cannot be what we're doing. And therefore, this is not the 1 on the loop. It's this one. This is the 1 on the loop. Incredibly. Well, not incredibly, but incredibly, I've proved it now. Now, since this is on the loop, we can't go straight south or we'd never go away. We'd never get that 1 in. So we go that way, down and there. Oh, that is intriguing. Now we've had the 2 things that can get on this loop. That's pink. And therefore the corner cell there is pink. This is a 6 or a 9. I don't even know which. And this has escaped. Right. And we've now got the number of turns right on this 2. And we've come up to a 3 here. And we're going to have to, we're not going to touch an 8 next because we've got 8s here and here. So we're going to touch a 9 next in one of these cells. I don't know which it is. I know you do. I haven't worked it out yet, though. Goodness gracious, I find this so difficult to get a handle on. Now, what has this taught us about 3s or something? This digit is 4, 6, or 7. I'm still allowing it to be a 7 in that pattern, which I'm actually thinking is more and more likely, and it's odd that I found a way to rule it out earlier. What can I do down here? Can I place 4? There, I can. And that's become a 7, and that's become a 1, and this is obviously not a 1. That's also not a 1. 8, 1, 2, 4. So this is now, I was going to say a 3, 9 pair. It's not necessarily. These are from 5, 6, 7. Unsurprisingly not on the loop. Right, now we've still got a bit of loop to connect up. We are still Venderzauner-ing our way around. We're not going north. Oh, I don't know if we're carrying on. No, I know why we're not going this way and why I ruled it out. That would be 3 turns up here. 1, 2, 3. That's why I knew we were carrying on from there to there. Why can't I remember this stuff? Okay, I've remembered it now. I just miscounted the turns along there. That's why we couldn't go down there. Right. So that's a 7. And why is that not solving 7s for me? I don't know. It just isn't. At this stage of the puzzle, I expect every digit I put in the grid to do a vast bunch of Sudoku, and some of them won't. That digit, though, is 4, 5, 6, or 9, and this is now a quadruple. So we've got 1, 3, and 8 to place. That must be where 8 goes. And there we go. We are getting some Sudoku done from the last digit. That's now a 6. That's a 5. I could see something a moment ago about 8. 8 here. It can't be there. It's there. Now, are any of these on the wrong colour? No, they're not so far. That one is. So the loop's not going there, but we knew that. In fact, this loop either turns here or here. Have I ruled out going down there? Yes, you can't connect those two together, so that's off the loop. I think these two are off the loop and that one as well. They're just not possible to get up there and back. I also think these are off the loop. That 7 can't connect to anything here. So these are off the loop, surely. Those two could only be a 4 and 9. Yeah, they're gone. Now, 7 could connect to a 1 here or a 2 here. What can this be? A 9, I suppose, if it was connecting. Now, this digit, this can't be on the loop because we've gone that way from the 2. For this to be on the loop, we can't come down here or we cut that line off. So this would have to connect those two, and there can't be a connection between this and a digit here. Well, they can't also, it would be 2, 7 and impossible. So that's off the loop. Now, I think we might be able to rule these two off. The only way they're on, either of them, is if we go 3, 9, 4, 9. And 9, 4 there would break that cell, so they're off the loop. So the 9 we're coming to from that 3 is in one of these 2 cells. Now, the 2 cells that are on the loop for this 2 are now definitely there and there. And they've both got turns in, so they both have eastward panels. And that's quite interesting. So if they joined up here, that would give us the one segmenty thing we needed here. Indeed, that digit would be a 1. This is high, and it sees 7 and 8. And it's not in a position where it can be 6, so that's a 9. Right, we have a 6 down there. That might do some Sudoku, a little bit anyway. 6, 5, 6, 5. This is a 3, 9 pair now, I do believe. And coming up here, these are not 6 and 9, so these are 6 and 9. And that makes this one 4 or 5. That can't be a 3, so this is 3. And that's 4, 5, or 9. Okay. Now, this must be very doable now, and I feel it's definitely going to be that shape. if we went that way, one turn would cause a second turn. Yeah, we can't turn right. We've got to go north from that 3. Now, we're only going to make one turn here. The reason I'm going to rule out this 8 is because it's on the wrong colour. How about that? The 9 is on the right colour. There we go. So now we have to turn down here. This digit must be a 7. This is low and must be a 1. And now we're just going to finish off, I think. I'm going to get rid of those circles. I'm going to join that 2 up to that 7. This 2 now can't join to that 4 or 5 above it. There is the completion of the loop. There is the completion of the pink cells. Here is a 4, a 6 and a 5, and everything is going to fall into place. And I have enjoyed this despite the agonies it has put me through. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. That's a 4, that's a 6, that's a 4, that's a 9. Now we've got 6 and 7, and no 4 here. 4 there, and a 9 here, and there we go. That must be the solution to Venderzauner. Brilliant puzzle, great fun. Thank you for watching. Well done, Dorlia. Super stuff. I really hope to see you all again on the channel soon. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.